Yo, what's up guys? Another Siege video. Going to show runes once more. If you haven't yet, like this video and subscribe to the channel, aiming for that 40k this year, and let's look at some Siege matches. First of all, we have a Galleon Vio fight. Could do a little bit more in the crit rate, crit damage quadrant, but I think it's kind of fine for what it mostly does. Tiana mainly for damage, has the crit damage good, has the crit damage S2 to just do a lot of damage. And then we have Grogan, which is just a high damage set, and then aiming for some damage on specific targets. It was not used exactly at that set, but that was something that I pre-recorded already, so for that reason I used it against this. In this case, I used it with damage on light, because the moment I killed the light unit, I had the least of issues. Also, probably Odin would have died without armor break, so most likely this is a very safe team to use this way. And I sneezed. But I muted the sneeze. No worries on that one. But yeah, also, I think Grogan's hit also kind of looks like a sneeze. He's just like, oh, everything dead. Something like that. Like I could be wrong. I could be wrong. Could be me. Let me know in the comments if you agree, if Grogan's attacks look like a sneeze. But yeah, Tiana damage, 30k. Not bad, not bad. Next match, once again, same Galleon, same Tiana, and then CP up in the building. TP is going for a broken set. I'm mainly aiming for a lot of attack, additional damage for attack, maxing out the crit rate. Accuracy is maxed from artifacts on the S3, some crit damage, but yeah, the attack is mainly the high thing, and then of course in tune, and therefore you do quite. So where we use that against is just simply things you outspeed, and then it's just good to go. Even if you miss some armor breaks or some pushbacks, 9 out of 10, this team works pretty well against specifically those kind of teams where there's no Manon, there's no Molly, there's no nonsense like that. Actually, that Mars was pretty freaking tanky, because it survived the full CP. That's actually interesting. It survives CP without getting endured. Strange, but interesting. But still dead. Next match, I'm going to use my Leo, which is the Vamp Destroy, same as last time. Not really maxing out the resistance, but it's pretty nice. Kind of depends what I'm fighting on, what kind of reducers I put in there. Feng Yang, the heavy hitter on the heavy artifacts. Well, artifacts could be better, but he hits a lot. And then Alaya also, depending on what I'm hitting, I use different artifacts. And those units are all very tanky. And the main thing is just about being tanky. But the thing is, we have a very strong Manon meta, and everything that is Manon, you could just Feng Yang more or less. So this kind of is becoming my old Tractor Windy Lulu, but then in net 5. I used to Tractor Windy Lulu a lot. And now it's just like, a team with Manon and Tiomars. Like, I would honestly say there's probably not a single team with Tiomars and Manon next to each other where you cannot put Feng Yang against it, and Feng Yang would just pretty much annihilate the whole team. So this is one of those that we can actually kind of just speed up, because you know that Feng Yang hits a lot and Manon just takes a little bit of time to kill, and they actually didn't do any damage whatsoever on my whole units. Sure, if they get an armor break off and they proc 3-4 times, they could do something, but yeah, it's not really the thing that you feel like. As long as there's no armor break and I have death buff, that's also the thing. If I have death buff, an armor break is cancelled out. Alaya is so strong. Alaya is definitely one of those units. If you pull multiple off, you can definitely keep multiple off, because there's a bunch of very strong siege units that can work well with Alaya. So next match, using my Lucian. So with the Lucian, I use a Jin and I use a Dova and then the Lucian. Additional damage on artifacts is mostly on specific elements that I want to hit with the Lucian. So in this case, I'm mainly aiming for landing on dark, if I'm not mistaken. Or I did the combination. I have one that has a combination of dark and light. So yeah, that just pretty much kills everything. And then sure, if Tiomars would have procced 1600 times, could have been tricky, but probably not. So for my next team, I'm using the Josephine with the cat and the NFL. You do want to have a specific tuning where NFL moves first, cat moves last, and Josephine moves in the middle. You want to have both destroy on the cat and on the Josephine. And then NFL, you can aim towards Nemesis or Will. You're mostly using this against heavy stunners, Claras, and things that can potentially sleep you. So if they have like Clara and that kind, Clara Celia or something, you don't see too much, but that's something I started using this quite a bit last season, current season not as much anymore, but it's still good. So in this case, I'm using it against double stunner. So we have the monkey in there, we have the Clara in there, and fun fact is it's mainly the middle unit that gets stunned. Well, it does make sense with the Clara actually, but yeah, I could have went for an S3 here, but I think 2 S3 would have been a lot better because you AoE CC things. And that's the main thing about this team. There's just so much AoE CC. You have 3 units that have stun potential. 1 unit that has it 2 turns because of that 2-turn sleep. You have cycling because of, well, you interrupt stuff, you get extra turns. You have cycling because of the Annabelle that mostly procs a lot, so definitely you cannot spam this into everything. Current season it's a lot less because we see less Claras on the lead, where we saw it a lot last season. But this is still a very strong team, like also into kinkies and that kind of stuff. Just heavy immunity, that's the only thing that counters you. And 24k on the cat, that's a lot of damage. So then going on with the Cassandra team together with the Odin. So this is the Cassandra damage on is always depending on the element. This is not 100% crit rate, which I should still fix, but actually started running my Odin for R5 again, so I'm not really sure if I'm using this team fully again, but the team is very strong and it has a lot of potential to kill a lot of stuff. And in this case, using it with the Bastet, because I don't necessarily need the Lima for protection. I can also just do it with Bastet, and then I still have the potential to kill multiple things pretty fast after each other. So in this case, kill that one, and then Theomars is going for a nice 3v1 while he insta-destroys something. To be honest, the only good thing about Cassandra in this fight is the speed lead. So in this case, this was a Maya with high speed as well, so that makes it nice, but otherwise you could have done this with the Covenant. So this is a match that I had to watch from replays because I forgot to record it. And this was a pretty interesting one. Is this smart? By all means, no. This was end of the siege and I was like, I'll just hit this. This was hitting some backline and stuff. So yeah, we had that S2. I'm like, it's still fine. Okay, never mind. Attack buff, speed buff, that skill. That hurts. That hurts a lot. But maybe I've seen it in the title already. We have a crazy 2v3 comeback. Would it be this one or would it be a next clip or something? And then I just really lose this. Or are Camilla, due to buff, and Carcano still good enough to pretty much kill 5 units? Because we have to kill 5 units right now. And that Carcano is on defense and it's mainly focusing on killing wind units normally. So yeah, it missed the crit. I think it's like 86 crit rate or some stuff, so it is 100 crit rate on wind, but not on everything. But yeah, that Camilla is a good tank. She's actually tanking things kind of like a pro, and Carcano's not bad in tanking when he is in the hidden aim form, so that double resist was pretty interesting though. And that resist as well. Like maybe I sacked a little bit. Well, he had a perfect rotation of an S3 and an S2, so I deserve a little bit of sacking. But there was quite some sacking already. But doesn't matter, doesn't matter. We're still Gucci. We can still win, but we can also definitely still lose. That glancing hit, not too great for me, but does make sense that glances. But there we can make our first killer. If this would armor break and proc right now would be an issue, but since both units were low HP, it didn't switch targets to the Carcano. Actually, Carcano in this case is somewhat tanky as well, but man, Camilla, holy shit. If you have multiple Camillas freaking broken in siege right now in offense. I totally don't understand why Camilla needed buff on buff, because Camilla was already decent. Now it's OP. And then we have another Feng Yang clear, and that's exactly on the same offense that I hit with it before. No, it's not exactly the same clip, but yeah, you know how this happens, right? Nothing really happens. They don't really do damage. I get a lot of protection. I pretty much still hit the unit. If Manon doesn't be annoying and do Manon shit, and then you just kill shit, and you barely lose any HP unless they proc 16,000 times, and then you just are full HP and you just chill and you let it die by a dot, and it's just Manon is boring. Manon is legitimately boring, and the more Feng Yangs you have, the more Manons you can hit. Simple as that. Then final hit, which was a very creative defense, and there's also a creative offense. I show the runes after this clip, actually, in this case. And the main thing is there's only one damage dealer, which is the demon. But the demon doesn't hit jack shit on that thing on the right. I've seen a bunch of people do this with Kinkies as well, because, well, Kinkies hard counter this as well. And this is one of those defense, like, okay, cool idea. You have very premium units, but I think I would place them elsewhere because, well, I guess this was one of those more backline defense kind of styles that they had as well. But yeah, this was just mainly interesting rather than anything good. I think it can take some wins here and there if it catches people off guard and they don't really prepare for it well, but in the end, like a freaking free-to-play team wins this shit. But that's actually a lot with Siege. If you think about it, and you're like 5 head in Siege and that kind of stuff, and you think about your offense, and that thing actually had like no HP whatsoever, it seems. But yay, no damage. And die again. But yeah, if you think about it, there's a lot of 2As that work really well. Like if you actually check at the top guilds, like I'm an exception in my guild just throwing LBs at everything. If you actually check like top siege, like for example, you check Feint Solidor or like, well, that's actually the only one top siege that's showing in siege. But if you check top sieges, most people just use 2As and like simple offenses that super hard counter shit, like this one, for example. And then for me, I like to throw LBs. So then for quickly showing the runes, this was also my final hit. It was 10-10. I think I missed one clip, which was my Nefty's Robo, but you kind of know how the Nefty's Robo. Still a fun, amazing team to showcase, so I mostly do put it in. But I think I missed that clip, maybe just didn't record it or anything like that. Well, either how, hope you enjoyed this Siege video, and I hope to see you in the next one. But please, if you haven't yet, like this video and subscribe to the channel. Have a great weekend.